Hello and welcome back. My name is V, and today I would like to talk about my first impressions and thoughts after starting Persona 5 this week. I'm gonna be honest with you, I did not know that I would be making this video so early into the playthrough, but I keep getting asked about it, how I feel about the intro, and as a disclaimer, I'm only 6 or 7 hours in. I play quite slowly and I don't even think that I'm past the first tutorial. But I still kind of wanted to make this video and answer some questions that I've been asked and just share my thoughts on what I knew would be an exciting game for me, but I just did not know to what extent. If you happen to be new here on the channel, make sure to subscribe for all things Persona and some other RPGs, JRPGs like Final Fantasy, and a bunch of other stuff, and do leave the video a like for the algorithm. By the way, you can find my entire Persona 5 playthrough in the pinned comments. I've only just started the game, and depending on when in the future you're watching this video, you may or may not see me finish the game on stream. So I am live streaming it. I am posting it here on YouTube as well as live streams and VODs and highlights. So I really do hope that you enjoy all of that with me here on the channel. Now, when it comes to the game itself, I thought I would love it after completely falling in love with Persona series after playing Persona 3 Reload and playing Persona 4 Golden, which I am just about to finish. As a little disclaimer, again, I am at the last dungeon of Persona 4 Golden, so in the post game, the one that you unlock after completing a certain social link. I feel like I'm ready to start Persona 5, but I did not know just how much I would love the entire experience. And I'm already starting to understand the hype for the game, not to the full extent. So if you already have played the game, which I assume you have if you're watching this video, if not, I'm not gonna give any spoilers because I don't know them. So if you have played the game, you know that there is so much more to look forward to than what I've already seen. But from the little that I've seen, I can tell you that I am having the best time. And this is also largely thanks to my community here on YouTube and on Twitch. For everyone who has been joining my live streams, first of all, I wanted to thank you. We've been having an absolute blast as a community. The chat has been lively, everyone's having fun, and I am just having the best time. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for being so kind and not offering any sort of spoilers and not trying to backseat through my playthrough too much, as I really do appreciate that, as Personas mean a lot to me, and I do want to have a very genuine, slow and my own experience at the end of the day. So I'm really appreciative of that. When it comes to the game itself, well, everyone who knows me as a content creator, you know that I do like these gritty and dark themes, and that I'm not too much of a fan of, you know, these happy, cozy little games. And I feel like Persona 5 Royal is something that I've been looking for a very long time. And I don't want to offer any spoilers to anyone who hasn't played the game but is watching this video, but in game currently I am just past the really shocking scene regarding one of the students from school who was going through something really stressful and traumatic. And I think that if you've played through the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That moment took me completely by surprise. I did not know that was going to happen, and I realized that this game is going to touch on a lot of difficult, stressful, traumatic topics that I'm not gonna lie, some of them I really relate to, and it's horrifying to go through some of these things in game and to, you know, recall events from my own life from the past. But at the same time, the game is weirdly relatable to pretty much everyone who isn't a high schooler. Like, I'm assuming all of us who are watching these videos are not. I don't think that's my audience. So I just wanted to point out just how relatable it is, even though they are not even adults technically. how well the game is written so far and how realistic it is to go around the city and listen to these some of these stereotypical dialogues that these people will have that really make you realize that people are actually like that people will actually talk about others in that sort of way, regardless of whether they are high schoolers or not. So the game is very immersive. It feels like real world, and playing through it makes me really feel like I woke up, like I have a decision to make, like I, need to go there or talk to this person or talk to that person. It just really makes me sit there with my controller in hand and just really anticipate the next moment, the next fight, the next dungeon, the next everything. And I am just so excited about it. When it comes to the soundtrack, I've already been told even way before starting the game that I'm going to love it. I do love it. There is a little bit of an odd experience streaming it because I know that everyone loves it, but at the same time, this is just something that I've experienced where I don't think a lot of people have the patience for me just kind of sitting there and listening to the combat soundtrack without actually participating in combat. But I think that that's pretty normal for someone who's playing Persona 5 Royal for the first time. It is a very special experience to hear these songs for the first time, to jam to them, to even try and listen to the lyrics without looking them up online. There's a great joy in me when I do that, as I love listening to it and just having really genuine feelings and genuine reactions about the music. And I just love how the game doesn't pressure you into doing things, even though, yes, you have deadlines and all that good stuff. You can just stand in a zone and just AFK there for like 10 minutes and just immerse yourself into the soundtrack. And even though it is essentially a game that obviously keeps you inside, it kind of lets you, in our own nerdy little way, lets you smell the roses, digitally at least. And to me, that's very therapeutic. Now, I'm sure, and I know that a lot of Persona 5 Royale segments are not particularly therapeutic. So far, I'm finding it a very special experience, if anything. I am having a lot of feelings about it. Some of them are still in development, and I think I'll be making more of these semi-review videos as I'm going through the game, as it's a very long game and I don't want to wait till mid-2025 to make a definite review video, as I'm also curious to see how my own thoughts are going to be developing throughout me playing through the game. So you can definitely expect me to sit down and talk about the game a little bit like this. Now, there's something that I was a big fan of. I just saw it in the dungeon for the first time, by the way, as I'm still in the first palace, sort of speak. I realized that acquiring personas, and spoilers for anyone who hasn't played Persona 5 Royal and doesn't want to know any combat specifics or anything, there is a way of acquiring personas in Persona 5 Royal that is very similar to how you get the demons in Shin Megami Tensei, particularly 5 Vengeance, because that is currently the only Shin Megami Tensei that I have played, and that was so nostalgic for me. Even though I've only played it a few months ago, I just felt really familiar with the system, and I love how that thing, which was one of my favorite things about Shin Megami Tensei, is suddenly in Persona 5 Royal, and it's just completing my experience and making the dungeon gameplay so much better and so much more fun for me. So I'm very excited for that. When it comes to my playthrough, I'm not going to be looking at any guides on what the right answers are that I need to give to this persona or that persona to acquire them. I really love experimenting with the dialogues myself, which is sometimes at the detriment of gameplay with both social links and the persona acquiring in these games, because I am not very good at dialogue. Sometimes I read things in a little bit of a different way and things go in a different direction than what I had imagined. which is a problem that I've had with all of my Persona games. But I'm determined to keep my playthrough authentic. I'm not going to be looking at social link guides on my first playthrough unless I'm really stuck and for some reason there is a social link that I'm really looking to complete as fast as possible because of some benefit. I'm not gonna be looking for advice or guides or anything. I just want to talk to the NPCs and to shadows the way I want to do it, and I just really hope that if you enjoy first playthroughs and if you want to see someone just genuinely enjoying the game and playing through it for the first time, I hope that that's something that you'll vibe with as well. What I really like so far is that all characters are very unique in their own way. So they are all already have their personalities, and even though I've met our caretaker or the female detective or some of these characters for the first time, you can already kind of tell what kind of person they are. Some of them are beginning to open up, maybe soften up a little bit, but they all have their own quirks. They're all unique in their own way, and I just love that. And I think that if at least half of the social links in Persona 5 are as realistic and immersive and relatable as these characters are, I think that I'm going to have an absolute blast with the game. Now, people have already asked me if I have a favorite character, and this is something that is very difficult for me to answer 6 or 7 hours into the game. And do mind, I do play very slowly, so I don't actually know who my favorite character is, but I do have to say that there is something very, very magical about Anne and about how I got to know her. And me seeing Anne for the first time was just a very, very special experience for me. I don't know why. She's just this very relatable character with so many emotions that I am just really curious to discover. There's also a little bit about me just kind of going into this game for the first time and having this hairstyle by accident that looked at least half of my head, right? It looked kind of like Anne, and I noticed that the people from the chat noticed that as well. And you can't help but notice these things about yourself when you start playing through the game, and it just makes it, if you do happen to look like an in-game character or something like that, it does make it a little bit more immersive and interesting for you. So I have to say I am on a personal level a little invested into Anne's story. I so far think she's absolutely lovely, and I don't know much about those stories, so please don't spoil it for me in the comments as I'm playing through the game right now. But Anne is absolutely precious, and I cannot wait to learn more about her. I am also a little concerned about learning more about Anne because I can tell already that there is a little bit of darkness going on there, and that she's been through things that she should have never been through. And that is very hurtful, and unfortunately some of these things very relatable to me as well. So I have this little bit of a personal connection with her also, and it just strikes me as absolutely incredible that I went into the game that I was hoping to like, and then I just found this character who somewhat has a similar hairstyle to me, and who is just unfortunately somewhat relatable to some of my experiences as well. So I am a little bit personally invested into her story as well. There's also something that I was really excited about, and this is a little bit of a gimmick, I suppose. It's not like a big deal or anything, but I really do like this whole texting thing. So the first time that I received a phone, when I started texting, it just felt really special. And I don't know why. Like, obviously texting in real life is not anything special at all, but just, holding this phone and pressing a button and getting a reply and getting like some choices to reply back, and then getting these chat messages back, there was just something really special for me in game when it comes to that. I think it's such a cute mechanic, and I'm low-key excited to get texts from my friends and read them and then choose what to reply to them. Sometimes I get so immersed that I actually forget to press X on my controller to advance the chat dialogue because I see them typing, and my brain low-key expects them to type back in their own time, and then I realize that I'm actually in control of them texting back. So it's absolutely immersive. It just has me, sit there in anticipation waiting for these little texts. And it's been a long time since a series made me feel the way Persona series does in general, and especially now with starting Persona 5, I am absolutely in love with my experience so far. So these are some of my first thoughts and first impressions on Persona 5. I really hope you enjoyed this little video, and do let me know in the comments what you think about the intro, about some of the opening scenes like the awakenings and whatnot, which one your most favorite awakening is, and all this good early game stuff. Thank you so much for watching this video, and a special thank you, of course, to everyone who has been tuning in to my YouTube and to Twitch live streams. You can follow my entire playthrough live on Twitch. I stream Monday to Friday at 12 p.m. Central European Time, which is 6 in the morning EST. So for all of you American, Canadian, and other early birds, that is when you'll find me live. Do leave the video a like for the algorithm, and I will see you in my next one. Take care, have a good one, and bye bye.